Yo, 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 what's going on? It's Wednesday again. It's just about that time. You got Carter, you got not Crawford, and you got the one and only Emman. What is up, man? How are you?
What's going on? It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, man. No worries, no worries. Thank you for being here. I'm really
sure.
excited for it. It's going to be good. So Emman is a musician and entrepreneur. He's a pianist. He's beginning to get into the producer thing. He calls himself just a musician, but I would never put it at just that. There's a lot into it, man. You got the entrepreneur, you got the music vibe. Right before air, before we were so rudely interrupted by being on air, which we're not. We love being on air, obviously.
Right.
You were telling us how you kind of began musically, how piano started to creep its way into your life, and
The way I started, it was back in high school. I knew this guy. His name was Jonathan Frankie. He called himself Siggy Diggy, right?
Siggy Diggy.
Right. And
I'm cool with it.
He was like my best buddy, and one day he was just telling me, hey, there's a song, right, that I'm listening to. I don't like it. I hate it. I think it was I don't know if you guys remember, but it's like downtown. There
Oh, who's it? Natasha's. Oh man, don't Vanessa Hudgens me. My God. Okay, hold on. That used to be one of my favorite songs when I
Right.
was a kid. Okay, yeah, like
And
okay.
he would tell me, man, if I swear if you play the song, like you're not gonna be able to play the song. I'm telling you now. And I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be able to play the song. And then so what I did is, I was very discreet. Like I would go to school and like for a week, two weeks, I would not say a thing. But back home, I'm just practicing the song. So one day I invited him out to my house, and I'm like, hey man, remember the song you told me not to play? I laid it out, played that for him. The first impression, no. And I'm like, hey man, and like it was funny to me just cause like it taught me a lot about myself back in the day to say that never limit yourself. If you really truly believe that you can do something, just put the time and effort to do it. You know what I mean? And that was the beginning of piano for me, and then I started learning more songs, and it just went from there.
What drew you to it once you had learned the one song? So originally it was to piss off your friend. Something. What was it? What was his name? Not John, but Siggy Diggy. Yeah, we have to write that down. Siggy Diggy. What? Aside from that, so you said you learned a lot about yourself. You learned never to limit yourself. You learned first of all you could
Right.
I could play this song.
Yeah.
Then what? What kind of drew you to it?
It was just like the musical aspect of it. I think I don't know. I think I was always musically inclined, right? When I would hear a piece that I would draw my attention, I would find like the motive and the drive to wanna know how to play it, because just so I want to remember, I want to be able to play it, right? And then so that's what drove me to it. Another song that really got me going. The first song that I played for so I did this the first year. The second year I did this for another friend of mine. His name was Tristan Osborne, and
You almost like play just to piss people off, kind
it
of.
started off as a prank, right?
That's
and then
amazing.
There was I think the song it was by Rihanna, Unfaithful.
Oh yeah.
And then he's like, and I'm like, I really like that song for some reason. I just like the musical background and how it was, classical and
Yeah.
the whole motion. So I digested the song and I went out and played it, and I found out that it was a really beautiful song, right? And then when I played it from there as well too, I was like, wow, like I really wanted to start taking it seriously, and I played it out for my friend, and he was like, wow, I cannot believe you just played that. Like, this sounded nice, but man, F you, man. Like, I can't believe you did this to me. So,
Yeah, so that was one that he also did not like.
Yeah, like, but that was another friend though.
Yeah.
Right?
This
And
was
then,
Tristan.
but from those aspects, I learned that looking back at it, it really just my personality, who I am now, what I'm into, it started from those things: piano and classical themes, stuff like that. And what kind of drove me to it, like, I mean, like, it was, to me, I don't think that it was hard learning piano, right? It's just the matter of persistence. That goes with anything too, right? If you want to learn guitar, you have to be consistent. The first few times, because I play guitar too, but not major in it. Like, I mean, like the first time I picked up a guitar and I'm trying to play, I'm like, wow, this is too difficult. I put it down, but I'm like, you know what? I did the same thing with piano. Let me spend some time with it. spend some time in it, and then like I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna take one chord and I'm just gonna learn it, and then I was just very persistent on it. The C chord, learning the C chord on the guitar. I remember I was just trying to start, my fingers won't cooperate.
Yeah, I know that feeling, man. I do.
Yeah, man. And then a matter of time, I was able to play with ease. Like I wouldn't even have to think about it when I was kept on playing it, right? And then, yeah, like I mean, it's not about the matter of like how what drove me to it, or how did I learn to play all these things. It's just a matter of time and persistence. If you really put your mind towards something, and that goes with anything, music, art, poetry, you will really be able to, achieve what you're looking for.
Yeah. You're so many ideas that you're pulling out of me at the same time. One of them, like, I can hear it in the way you talk. So I asked you before air, I was like, well, how long have you been playing guitar? And you're like, well, like, or I asked you piano, how long have you been playing piano? You said, well, like, there's the amount of time that I got into it, and then there's a different answer for the amount of time that I've actually spent doing that. Right. And I love that, because somebody could say to me, yo, I've been playing bass for 10 years.
Yeah, right.
But there's a difference of playing bass for 10 years every day, or I started playing bass 10 years ago and I pick it up once a month and I still don't really know how to carry a rhythm. Like, that's a hugely different answer.
Yeah,
it's time spent.
Absolutely. And that's where like I could say the same thing that you're saying. I could say that I started piano when I was like 13, but like I haven't really spent the exact time on it, because remember the first time I did was just to piss off my friends, right?
Yeah.
but I mean, I really started picking it up probably, I would say, like in grade 10 or 11, right? When I really started taking it seriously. That's when I started doing more, because before I wanted to make my own beats, right? But I wasn't doing that at first. I was just rapping, right? And when I got into the whole theory of music and how the industry is, it's better to have your own beats, right? Because before I made all the beats and stuff like that, I was just spend time songwriting, right? And then that's where it all came about.
You think it's better to have your own beats than songwrite? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying like
he's like, don't misconstrue me, man. Don't put words in my mouth.
It's better to have your own beat. It's better to have your own production. If you're trying to be an entrepreneur and trying to, you really have to understand the aspects of, copyright, infringement and stuff like that, and sampling people's songs without the permission, that's a huge thing that you don't want to get yourself into, right? And so like I'm musically aware of that as well. So anything that I want to do that's big, that's beyond my reach, I try my best to make it into my own, right? If I don't have the money to, get somebody's permission, I wouldn't do it. I would rather do it on my own, because A, I have the passion for it. B, that came from me. It's my own production. I can really look at it 2 years from now and be like, wow, look at what I've done. Like, you'll feel more accomplished.
Yeah.
Right? And that just goes towards success as well. Like, success is just, doing something that you're happy with. It's not really about money. It's just about the accomplishment that you have done. Right?
Yeah, man, absolutely. And even if it's something that doesn't lead you to material success, if you're genuinely stoked to do it, like it can still be considered a success, you know? And I like that, man.
Exactly.
I also have a lot of respect. So I play guitar. I would imagine we're probably a similar competency, you on piano and me on guitar. Right. And I've tried to play piano. Right. And the feeling of complete beginner, right. I don't have that on guitar. I know my way around the fretboard. I understand the different, my fingers fall onto the strings. They know they know where it's at. Like I have that, all of these familiarity, but then to go to a piano for me, the same way you're feeling that guitar, and like, but getting myself to spend the time is hard, man. Because I'm like, well, damn, man, I played guitar for like 10 years, and now I'm this good. Is it worth it to be on that
thing? The thing I like about time, and I really understand what you're saying, because the thing I like about time is that, like, you can't get it back, right? But the thing that makes it a difference is the value that you place on the time.
That's it.
All right. If you place the value on your time, you can really accomplish it. You know what I mean? From my understanding, your value is more based towards the guitar. So you will spend more time on the guitar, less than the piano, because you're not, that's not really your priority, your value right now. You know what I mean? So I look into that as well. It's just the value that you're placing on the time. Because as we're growing up, You know, back in the days, we used to have a lot of time. You know, like I used to
That's
play
it.
piano, write raps, go bike riding with Dominic and other friends, right? But because we had a lot of time, but as we grew up, our time becomes so little because
Yeah.
of other things. You know,
Yep.
family comes in the way. You know, you
Yeah.
have kids or wife or whatever,
Yep.
have a rent to take care
Yep.
of. You have to work now.
Yep.
Now your time has to be valuable. So now, what are you
Yes.
doing with the time, and what value are you placing on your time?
Yeah, I love that. And part of that comes down to me is like, what vision do you have? So if you're like, I would still say for me or for any musician who's looking to pick up another instrument, if you don't currently play piano, that's probably the one you should go to. Like,
Right.
not only are you going to get melodic like teaching from it, you get rhythmic teaching from it. It's
Right.
the easiest to map towards a MIDI or a synth. It's
Right.
the easiest to write beats
Yeah.
from. It's like it's the key. I wish I could say it was a guitar, but it's freaking not. Just get
Yeah.
over it, guitarist. I'm sorry, but it's the keyboard, and that's where, if I could pick another instrument aside from saxophone, because I've always just had a strange love for the saxophone,
Right.
it would definitely be the keyboard to learn, man. So
Right.
spending your time, but having that vision, like, yes, my time is valuable. Yes, it's rare that I get time to spend on it. What could I turn myself into on the keyboard if I spend
Right.
that time?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that vision is huge, man. And
Yeah,
obviously you have
and
it.
and it'll make a vast difference. Because when I go on, every time when I get up in the morning, or if I'm going to do anything musical, I really have to look down and think to say, okay, you know what is the vision, like you said. So that's why I absolutely think what you're saying. Like how do you see yourself in becoming who you want to be in that particular era? So me picking up all these different instruments, I inspire myself to be a producer or a teacher or some sort of musical, field in that era, to be able to do these things, right? So, and for you to be able to produce and for you to be able to teach music, you have to be familiar with other instruments. You don't have to master it, but just at least know the basics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
100%.
knowing the basics, you will be able to inspire somebody who's like, let's say 12,
Yes.
and
Yes.
this person just wants to do a simple thing.
Yes.
You can turn that person's life
love it.
around,
Man.
and they can become something great just by you
Yes.
teaching them the basics, right? So
That's it. Or even, I would add to that. Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly, man. And when you learn, so even if I learn a very little bit on piano, now when I'm the producer or when I'm even just another musician and you're playing a piano part, maybe I actually hear something really well and I know how to vocalize it. You know what I mean? I don't have to kind of point or try to sing it or whatever. I can just say, well, look, that D hit that lower one, or like maybe try a lower inversion, or like now we're having musician
yeah,
conversation.
right.
And I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't at
No.
least try a
Try, yeah.
little bit on the piano.
Exactly. Yeah, you got it, man. Like,
Yeah.
And adding on to that, that's what makes an excellent point. Thanks for mentioning that. And that's also inspirational to other people who are seeing other musicians, talk the music talk, right? And to know how to start a composition from scratch, and when people are in the industry and they're working like music and they're trying to have records and hit records, that you will find out a lot of times, and you find a lot of that in there, right? Producers and songwriters will get together, and I may not specialize in songwriting, but I know how to write raps or
Yeah.
write rhymes.
Yeah.
Somebody who's a professional songwriter, I could benefit from that the same way they can benefit from
Yeah.
me. Somebody who's a guitarist, they can benefit.
It's super interesting. I don't mean to cut you off. It's
okay.
that's what I would start to call the mastermind, and we've talked about teams on this show so many times, whether it's getting something done, whether it's having someone who I would say like a little bit, I would use the word rigid. Is that okay with you? He's a little more rigid than I am. I'm more like loosey-goosey flow, whatever. I don't mind if we put up a picture with a mustache on it, but these guys do, okay? Just calling them out. I always call them out on air. That's the inside joke. But that's the joke. The idea, though, is to have the different view. Because you're right, maybe you and I are going to write a song and you're like, well, I don't know what should go in this space, and I have an idea that only a guitarist could think of, or vice versa, so I'm with you 100%. I got the 2-minute mark 2 minutes ago, and they're looking at their watches, which means I'm 30 seconds over time. We got Desires by Rochelle. This is produced by Emman, which is going to be sweet. We also have Comfortable Vivaldi coming up. Check us out, DriveWire. We're going to talk entrepreneurship. We're going to talk nuclear sound. We're going to talk Classman when we come back. CFR. What is going on? You got Carter, you got the one and only E-Man. We have been chirping the F major bar chord for about 10 minutes in the break here. And we actually, it was a pretty interesting conversation.
Yeah, right.
And what we decided, so E-Man, how long ago did you actually pick up the guitar?
Guitar, I would say probably like, you know what's funny, interesting story. But I think the first time I picked up when I took lessons from Francesco.
Oh, Fran. Okay.
It was a while back. I don't remember the time, but I think like 5 years.
You guys must have gone to the same high school then.
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
elementary school too?
No, I think just high school.
Same high school. Okay, cool.
so
Yeah, you
I
guys have
picked-
a heck of a
I
background.
started there, but I didn't really take it serious. I'm like,
Okay.
you know what? This is too difficult. Like,
Yeah.
I put it down, but then like when I got into producing,
Then you picked it
and
back
yeah,
up.
that's when I picked it up because I was like, you know what? I wanted people to know the difference between virtual instruments and real instruments.
Yeah.
Virtual instrument, there's certain things on the guitar that you can't do, right? Especially
Yeah.
like, you know, I really want detail. That's what my whole company thing is about. Nuclear sound. I really want people to pick out the details. You know that when your hand moves on the strings,
Yes.
you're
that
not able
sound.
to hear that on a virtual
Yeah,
instrument,
yeah.
right? So I was like, you know what? Damn, I have to go back in there. to
Chris,
guitar.
dude, it matters, man.
It really does.
That's definition. And like, if you get, I swear this is true, specifically on bass, if
Right.
you get a clear enough amp, you can hear the interaction with your fingerprints
Exactly.
on the string.
It's true. It's
like
true.
you can actually
Absolutely.
hear that if it's
Yeah.
loud enough.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking,
And
that's insane.
and all of those little things makes a huge difference
Overall?
in what you're producing,
Big
right? And
time.
I really wanted, whenever I'm producing these days, I really want people to hear the finest details, right? Because when I listen to other compositions like Dr. Dre, and I'm like, how is he getting these sounds that nobody's able to pick those things up? But it's just vast amount of studies, and he probably works with other musicians that are very musically
The
talented,
mastermind, man.
right?
Yeah.
and then he just puts it
That's
together,
it.
right? And so I was like, you know what? I have to learn guitar now.
Yeah. And it's cool that you're saying that. It gives new meaning. So your music is under the name Nuclear Sound,
Right.
not nuclear, but actually it is nuclear, but actually it's not. So the C in nuclear is capitalized. And what I like about it so much is that you just said, like, look, man, I'm really trying to find that clarity in the ringing of even the movement of that
Right.
kind of greasy sound of
Right,
the
right,
fingers
right.
on the. I love that,
It makes a
man.
difference, man.
I want to bring that F chord back. So we talked,
Right.
and this is huge because I'm really trying to pinpoint the things that musicians can do to actually help themselves. And we talked briefly about time spent, and that kind of flowered into this conversation of when I learned an F chord, it literally took me like 15 hours.
Right.
Like we broke it down. You said for a month, your lunch hours, you brought a guitar into work.
Right.
Probably people were like, look at that guy
Yeah.
trying to figure out this freaking one.
Yeah.
You're not playing a song. Like that's what
Nah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
hit
So-
that, man.
So that's where I started playing taking the guitar more seriously. After the lessons from Francesco, I was like, you know what, a guitar may not be my thing, but when I got more into producing, as you're saying, I really wanted to bring the finest details. So I was like, okay, here we go. We have to go back. So I was just really, and I'm like, you know what, I don't have a lot of time. How am I gonna break this down? So I just put my goals and my vision board out, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna learn the guitar. How am I gonna do it? Okay, where's the time in that? So I'm like, you know what, when you go to work, you have break time. So you know what, let me rent a guitar from Longa McQuaid, bringing it into work, and let me just learn these chords. 3 chords. Let me start with this one. I didn't start with the F chord because I was like, you know what, this is too hard right
It
now.
messes with you, man.
But I started with other chords like, the G, the open chords, and then when it came down to learn the F chord, I was like, it took me I would say a month.
Dude, it's
every
hard,
day,
man.
half an hour, right?
Yep.
And like I have 2 breaks, so I'll use 15 minutes to play, and then other 15 minutes to like pray and do my Bible studies, and then the other 15 minutes I will just use to practice those chords. And then within a month, I was able to do it. But the first few times, it was very frustrating. And
It's
so
so
to all the first
frustrating,
guitar
man.
players out there, if you really want to learn the guitar, it takes dedication, persistence. You have to be
Yes.
persistent, and you have to know the vision. Like, why do you want to learn it? You know what I mean? Me, I wanted to learn it because I want to be better in producing. So that gave me the fuel for me to accomplish what I wanted to do, which was the most difficult thing on the guitar, F chord.
Yeah, man. And it's so interesting too because I'm just thinking about this. That chord, just to give people an idea of when I first started. For the first couple years, I literally, if I looked up on like, I don't know, Ultimate Guitar Tabs or whatever, if I looked up the chords for a song and an F chord was in it, I would not learn the song. I would skip it. And then eventually, like, it comes around and you have to. Like, if you're going to be any sort of reasonably good guitar, like, you have to learn the chord. So I spent the time, but when I finally got it, I was so happy, like happier than
joy is like
almost even than learning a hard solo now. I was more happy to learn one chord.
Right.
And it's so interesting to me that the things that we struggle the hardest for are the things that make us happier long term. You know, so we both have gotten to the point where we put in that effort, and then all of a sudden, and it's also the one, like, if you can get your bar chords down, it opens up every sound essentially on the neck. Like, it really starts to change what you can do. So put in the time, and I love that. Okay. I wanted to talk about Nuclear Sound and Classman. You brought up Classman. It's correct me if I'm wrong. It's compositions of classical and then contemporary sounds, right?
Right.
And
So
it's for people to rap over.
I mean, they can do whatever they want with it, right? To be honest, like, I didn't have a full vision of it yet, right? At the time that I was making it, because I wanted to really I wanted to produce tracks, beats, instrumentals, but I needed like a sort of like what is going to be my sound, you know? So when I took the time to think about it, I felt like Classman was, you know, a sound that I could bring out to people. Just focus on one genre, because you know, when you go to different people, they have a specific sound. If you go to trap soul, this is the sound for trap soul.
Yeah.
You go to rap, hip hop, this is the sound.
Yep.
So I wanted to bring my kind of like my own genre. Who knows? Maybe in the next 5 years it could be its own genre. It's just a composition of, you know, classical instruments, whether it's from a cello, whether it's from a violin, piano, you know, harp, all of those things with like snare and kick drums.
Yeah.
And put into like a rap type style type groove. So that's where it came from, and that was a sound that I wanted to bring out to start pushing out Nuclear Sound. To say, okay, this is the Nuclear Sound. Let's start off with Classman, because this is a different type of sound. This is a different type of you know, genre that I want people to kind of catch up on. Anybody who wants to, you know, just do a little simple rap. Even it can go as simple as Will Smith raps.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Put it on a Classman beat. You know. And then
How does Infinity rap? How's that sound?
Infinity is very like he's like a lyricist, man.
Oh, okay. We'll talk about it later. Okay.
Yeah, man. Like, he reminds me of like Eminem a little bit.
Yeah.
Rap, but with his own style, with his own twist.
Man.
Like, back in the days, rap.
And you're a rapper as well. You bring that.
Right, yeah.
What do you typically find for inspiration? How's that kind of flow?
Well, I don't really like rap anymore type thing, but I do it if I have a purpose behind it. So now, me, as I'm really like, these days, I'm really trying to focus on like righteousness and you know, like the spirit of God and stuff like that. So I started putting that in my raps. I started working with this artist. Her name is Summer. We're coming up with this record. I think it's called Made It Through the Day. And I'm really what I'm doing there is like, I'm going back and simplifying rap and talking about the book of Daniel and the book of Job, because I think like the Bible is so dumbed down in our generation that people don't really understand it. So I wanted to, you know, take on that task to, you know, simplify it in a way that people can understand it.
That's a big task, my man.
I know.
Good for you. Like, God bless if you can make it happen, man. That's
sure.
a cool one.
For sure.
Made It Through the Day. So you and an artist called Summer. What are you aiming at with it? Where's it going?
So it's gonna start off as a single, right? Because I was thinking about an EP, but I'm like, you know what? Not yet. I don't. She's not really like a rapper artist, and I wanted to give her the opportunity to, you know, come out, because she can rap too and she can sing too, right? But I feel like she's a little reserved, but I want to encourage her to, you know, we can do these things. If you really believe in God, let's put that in the raps. Who cares? Who cares what other people think?
Yeah.
It's all about the music. Let's have fun with it. If you believe in God, let's do it.
Absolutely.
So that's my focus here. I'm trying to, like, you know, encourage people to bring out their passion and their talents.
Yeah.
Whatever they feel like.
No, I love that, man. I love that. Does he know Raz? Do you know Raz?
Raz, I'm not sure.
Not yet? No. So
yet.
he's Muslim, and he puts Allah in his raps a lot, and he talks about walking the narrow path and doing it the right way. And I was really touched by that, and it's kind of resonating kind of in a similar manner. So maybe that would be a connection through Dom and Fran that could really help you on your path.
For sure,
That'd be
absolutely.
awesome. I don't know if there's anything we can make here happen here.
For sure.
You're an advocate for
Christie's Hope Foundation.
Christine's Hope?
Christie's Hope Foundation.
Christie's Hope Foundation. Yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
This is a organization basically. Is this young entrepreneur that I go to church with. She's trying to push out this vision to help out people, young people, right, and just young homeless people between like I would say like the ages of 15 to 25, people that are malnourished, they don't have shelter, and they're homeless, or they need they need support, financial support. And so this organization is providing services that will help these individuals, and this is a vision that I strongly believe in for her, because us humans, we are so busy and caught up with life that we forget about people that need help, right? And a lot of the times in our community, what we find a lot is that we don't always support other people's businesses, right? And I wanted to take on the task to just really support her business. So I told her that, you know what, if you need me to be an advocate, I got you, don't worry. So I made a video to say that this is, the foundation. I talked about it and helped her push out her business. So this is part of something that I'm working on as well too.
That's cool, man. Anything in particular that's gone on to raise funds? Is there any sort of fundraisers coming up?
So right now, I think there's an event called Transfundmation. It's also in Africa. It's going to be in Africa.
Wow.
Right? So she's going to be touring to Africa to promote the business to these young kids and young people.
Very cool.
For them to, get these services that they need. You know what I mean?
Love that, man. I love that. And it's flying on a high vibration, I would call it. Like we all need to help one another improve this world as much as possible. And I really have a lot of respect. So if there's anything we can do at DriveWire to help you, maybe get the word out about foundation or fundraisers or whichever. Obviously, I can't say the words, but I will try my best on air, brother, man.
For sure. Absolutely, man.
So I wanted to ask you, have you found any relationships between music and entrepreneurship?
I would say it's funny. Yes, but not really.
Yes, but no. Okay.
Right. So my yes is that I really want to make like the Nuclear sound like its own music type thing where you can go there to get beats.
Yeah.
Right. But in order for me to do that, I would have to get a copywritten and stuff like that. So I'm sort of kind of working on that. I started this Nuclear sound thing with somebody named Jermaine G. Freshas. He's another artist of mine that I make beats for.
Cool. And
then we sat down and we were like, how are we gonna put this thing together? Because back in the days, like I was trying to be a producer and I was looking for artists. So when I bumped into him, we talked about it, and then this is where it kind of generated. So this is the entrepreneurship that I'm trying to find in that is to get a copywritten so that it's legit. Now, if anybody wants to use my beats for any non profit way, or they just kind of need a consent from me type thing, you know what I mean? Because I don't know if I make a beat and it goes big, I want a little piece of that, right?
Of course.
Excuse me. So that's what I'm kind of working on. I'm just working in the research and the details on how to really get that accomplished. So for now, I would say most of my work is free, but I have a tag on it. Now, if you want me to remove the tag, you would have to contact me. Right. And then like the way I work with artists is that I'm really trying to like promote righteousness and stuff. So for me to work with you, you just have to either your lyrics would have to be motivational, inspirational, gospel, or about love. Anything else, I don't really like. You would have to go through Nuclear Sound and get the thing from there. But for me to work with you personally, because there's a difference between being a producer and producing. Being a producer is really working with an artist, spending time with them. Right, getting to know them, and pushing their vision. And this is how the Heartbeat EP from Rochelle came out. I really wanted to push her vision because she was really serious about music, and me as a producer, I wanted to be serious too. So I spent a lot of time with her as a friend to really know what her vision was, to know if it was genuine and true enough for me to really help her to spend the time to put all these compositions together, because it takes time to make beats, right? And you don't want to make beats for just anybody. spend time, quality time. So we spend like a good, I'd say 4 months putting this whole EP together. All of it for, not technically for free, but for a negotiable price type thing, if you get what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Right. I like that, man. And being, so Simon Sinek would call it knowing your why, right?
Yeah.
And if you know the why of the people you're working with, then it's almost like I don't even have to ask your permission to do something because this is your why.
Right.
You know what I mean? It does clarify things. And it also, especially being purpose driven as you are, like, it seems very much so that you would need to, how do I want to say it? If you're going to have such limited time anyways,
Right.
you really need to make sure your vision and what you're trying to accomplish for you as a producer is going to be the same thing that you can actually do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're killing two birds with one stone by making sure that our whys are aligned. And I really like that, man.
Right.
How do you, because it's like a fuzzy gray zone, you know? How do you actually get that out of somebody?
What do you mean get what out?
I mean, like, so I guess on a certain level, it would actually be not that hard because you're saying, look, if it's gospel, if it's about love, it's about motivational.
See, the thing is, it wasn't like that before.
Right.
That's the thing.
It is now.
It is now.
Yeah.
Before it was very open, but because I did that for one reason. I really want my life to be blessed, right? And I want to really like, according to the word, I really want to push the gospel out to people, and not just by saying it, by doing it, right? I'm not gonna lie, I lost a lot of clients from that. I lost a lot of followers, but I mean, I really want to stand for Christ, and in the end, I'm just focused on the end goal, right? So how do I get that out of someone is by seeing where they're at. You know, a lot of people are, especially with the artist I'm working with right now, Summer. She believes in God and stuff like that, and she really wants it. So I find the vulnerability in the place for somebody who's very passionate about something, but they don't know how to express it, and to just help them out by, you know, providing them with services and equipments and stuff that they need for them to get whatever sound that they have out. And B is gonna limit my time. Now I don't have to work with so many people. I can just work with my vision, and now whoever really wants to associate with me, they would have to go on the Nuclear Sound and grab the beat, and whatever they want to do with the beat is up to them.
Yeah.
But if I'm more to work with you personally,
Exactly, you're gonna need to be aligned.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
No, and I love that, and it's like, what's super interesting too, right before break, is like, if you make that switch. So obviously up front, you mentioned it yourself. You lost a lot of clients. Hopefully not too many friends you lost, but dude, that making that kind of a switch does change you. But what's really interesting is, as soon as you make a switch like that, now you as a producer actually, to some people, are going to be a little easier to work with than somebody else who's just a producer for everyone.
Exactly.
Because and so you're attracting a particular brand of people to yourself, and I love that. You're how do you say it? It's not really projecting yourself outwards, but it is, man. You're like, okay, these are the things that I want. I want to fight for God. I want to fight for like living the high life. I want to fight for doing things righteously.
Right.
And so those kinds of people will actually seek you out versus working with another person who just is working with everyone.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with working with everyone, but it makes you somebody who those people want to work with.
And it's
more.
what we talked about at the beginning, right? Placing value on time. You know what I mean? We don't have a lot of time as we are growing up. We're not going to be here forever. We're not going to be 21 forever. We're growing up. Responsibilities are going to kick in, especially if you're single. And if you once you get in a relationship, now your time is limited, right? So now what you're going to do with your time is you put value on it and you put standard on it. So now you teach people how to treat you. People cannot approach you in any type of way because they know what you stand for. Right, and then it goes in what you're saying now. You're going to attract a specific brand of people to push your vision, not only your vision, but their vision as well. And then that saves you a lot of time, puts more value and more success.
That is a hell of a good place to go to a break. So we're coming up with Do You Understand by Rochelle, produced by the one and only Emman himself. Also SWM by Shiloh. Can we actually turn it up? I want to hear it. Like, I want to listen to it. Catch us out, DriveWire, CFRE Radio, all things good, and catch us soon. Yo, Yo, you got Carter, you don't got Crawford, you got the one and only man. Crawford actually like damaged his knee pretty bad. I've been chirping him a little bit on air, but he actually hurt himself. So hopefully he's well. Hopefully next week we can have that cat up here and be rocking with it. So we miss you, buddy. If you're listening, hopefully you're good. Doug, send your kid a text for me with a heart in it or something. Let him know that I miss him. I miss him already. So aside from beliefs, I want to talk to you about this. So have you ever heard somebody's music and you're like, damn, like I just need to work with that person? Like, what do you look for when you're like musically to relate to them? What are you looking for?
Right. I look for inspiration, and how do I define inspiration? Anything that now these days will promote righteousness, motivation, inspiration, love, and that would have like a different sound, right? And just inspirational, and then that inspiration can kind of direct towards the project that I want to work for next. You know what I mean? Because like it's so hard to listen to everybody's music these days, considering time. And nowadays, I don't even listen to music that much. I just listen to motivational speeches. I go on my audiobook and I download a whole bunch of motivational self-talk stuff, and just put that in my mind. Because I mean, like, I feel like in this time of age, I feel like we're so busy listening to other people's success. Why are we not as successful as them? That's my whole mentality about it. So it's like, what inspires me is just somebody that when they're making music, anything that underlines that, those categories, and that would bring a different sound. And like, what do I call a different sound? It's just something that not everybody's listening to. You know what I mean? Because if I'm going to work with somebody who's bringing a sound that everybody's listening to, then I'm not different. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really trying to like set myself apart, bring something new to the table. What can I do? What can I work with that would change my perspective?
Yeah.
And will give me more inspiration on top of inspiration, so I can acquire success, not just for me, but for everybody. You know what I mean? So
yeah, somebody once said like, I'm not sure who it was, but they said this really opened my mind, because I used to think being quote unquote, I'm doing air quotes for those of you listening, quote unquote successful meant that I was more successful than the people around me. But somebody who is very successful, I really don't remember who, said if you do it right, the people around you also become more successful.
Right.
And then I realized, holy crap, this world is more about cooperation than competition.
yeah.
It's a lot more about finding
so
the
true.
right people you want on your team,
Right.
and building a team to cooperate with, even with other teams, versus competing with, Carter versus Emman to get, that's not how it is. And it's so interesting, because the music industry, man, when you look at it, traditionally, for instruments, you ask almost anybody who listens to music, when's the golden era? You want to go ahead and give me an answer? When's the golden era?
The golden era. To be honest, I'm not even too sure of it myself.
Very often you hear 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Okay, very often you hear 60s and 70s. And then you when I started doing a lot of the music history and everything and starting looking into it,
Right.
they were all friends.
They were all what? Sorry.
They were friends, man.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
like close.
Close
These
friends,
people,
yeah.
like Zeppelin
Right.
knew Clapton, knew like
Right.
like they knew each other. They worked with each other. They
Yeah.
played on their same gigs. They were like doing the 70s version of emailing song clips
Right.
to each other and tagging each other, and they were asking, like how do you think this could be better? And the Who
Right.
was constantly trying to one up the Beatles, and the
Yeah.
Beatles were constantly trying to one up the not New Kids on the Block, another name for a band that I always forget.
Is that them?
The Beach Boys. I always get their name and New Kids on the Block. Sorry about that. That's the whole idea, though, is that they were competing
Feeding
with
off
each
each
other
other.
and cooperating at the
Right,
same
right.
time.
It's true.
I
Man.
love that, man.
And yeah, you need because I believe that you cannot be successful on your own. If you really truly want to be successful, you need the right team.
Yeah.
You need the right people. And then these days, I go to a place called Transforming Life Center, where there's a whole bunch of a lot of leaders, right? Shout out to Pastor George and Pastor Harrier for this organization. They bring a whole bunch of leaders together, or young kids that are looking to be leaders, and they just teach them ways to be leaders, right? By spirituality, by mentality, and it's a great facility that I'm a church that I'm going to right now, because it just really allowed me to really be around people that are, you know, leader like-minded, entrepreneurship like-minded, so you can feed off the ideas off each other, right? And you cannot make it on your own. You need a surrounding, a team, so that when everybody makes it, we all make it, and then we can all feed off on each other and complement each other and bring up other people with you, right? And is all part to, you know, fulfill God's kingdom, right?
Yeah, I love that. And I am not overly spiritual, but like, if the Son of God had 12 people on his team, like, why wouldn't I need some people on mine? You know what I mean?
Right,
it just makes sense. Like, I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? Like, it just does. Like, how would I not? And it's so interesting too, because when you have a team, the workload is lighter on everybody.
Right.
And on top of that, I used to feel like I was shortchanging the rest of the people in the team because, for example, speaking. Like, I like it. I like to do that. So when my challenge for the team is to lift the heavy lifting of the talking, I actually felt like I was doing all the quote-unquote easy stuff.
Right.
But then somebody else who prefers to do paperwork, they might think that they're shortchanging me to do the paperwork part because that's what they prefer and it's easier to them. So everyone can have not only less of a workload, but they can stay within their strength zone, and it's even like everything becomes infinitely easier.
Right.
I love that, man.
So yeah, man, that's what it is, man. All about helping one another, and just because another thing I found out recently is that you can never really like also be successful if you're angry, right? If you're angry at your brother, if you're angry at your sister, you're angry at your friends. You know, these days I'm really also trying to work on, like, you know, being slow to anger. You know what I mean? Whenever somebody would, like, you know, tick me off or anything like that, I'm really trying to practice to say that, hey, man, you sound really upset. Let's talk later when you're okay.
Yeah.
You know, that professionalism, that just to show them that, you know, because I was thinking, I'm like, you know what if somebody did that to me? At the end of the day, I would feel really dumb. Be like, why was I shouting at that person in the first place? Let me just go back and say that, you know, because you can never really solve anything when you're upset. Picture two people going out at each other. What are they arguing about? And at the end of the day, it's really love is what's gonna get your opinion across to other people without any contentions.
Yes.
So that's what I'm practicing a lot these days.
Yeah.
Know, being slow to anger.
It's such an interesting concept. So I know. So everything is either an I love you or it's a cry for help.
Right.
Everything. Mm-hmm. So if somebody bumps into your cart at the grocery store and they're like, get the F out of the way and this, that, and the other. Like, I just look at that as like an adult human being in like a diaper and crying like a baby. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you yell back at them, you're also a baby. Like, you're also that. So now my conversation is just kind of like, you know, somebody yells at me or somebody has a problem with me or somebody says something that really does hurt. Or in the case of moving into our new house, there was a fiasco. Adam has already apologized, but Adam leaned into me because day one, I made a joke about if your cat runs away, like, not my fault, bro. And then day 1.5, the cat actually we thought was gone. We couldn't find it for hours. And he lost it on me. Wow. But I didn't turn it into an argument. I felt his pain. Like, I got it. I was like, okay, man, I get you. And I just tried to show him support. Look, man, I'm really sorry that we can't find the cat. I really get it. My words weren't good. Like, my bad, and I accept that fault. And then we found the cat a little while later, and you're right. Yeah. He came down sheepishly, like, look, man, I'm really, really sorry. Like, I made a mistake. I yelled at you. I shouldn't have. And I just can't help but imagine how crazy it would have been if I had yelled back.
Right.
How, like, would I be moving out of the house that I just moved into, man? Like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. So I love you, Adam. I'm glad that it didn't turn to the wrong way, but it's exactly that. It was, this man is really angry, but he's asking me for help. You know what I mean? Like, it clearly wasn't an I love you. Mm-hmm. So it was obviously the other one. And he was in a place where he felt like he lost a close friend. Like, his cat was gone, you know? So I get you, man. I get you. It's really interesting that. And I love that you're working so hard to spread love in your life. I think that's cool. Yeah, have you written any songs about that?
Yes, I
Yeah?
have. Yes, but I haven't put them out yet because
Oh.
I do a lot of like secret songwritings.
Yeah?
So like every week at work, right? Like I during my breaks, I set a goal to say, okay, this week on my breaks, this is what I'm gonna do. This week, this is what I'm gonna do. It saves a lot of time. So now it's like, if I really want to put out a song out, I just have to go to my songbook. If I made any beats, I would have to go to my songbook and just be, okay, you know what? And I would have so many to pick from because I've saved so much time, you know. Because back in the days, you know, we'd ride bikes, come back home, write lyrics, come back for dinner, wake up, go to school, and you know what I mean. But now, we don't have a lot of time, so just place a lot of time. So yeah, I have, right. I haven't put them out yet. I don't want to see too much about them because they're still on the editing process. But hopefully I'll be back here, and then the time that I come back here, I'll have a whole bunch of projects to talk about.
Cool, man. I like that. We'll have you back as soon as you're dropping all the beats. We'll have you back in the middle of the mayhem. We'll chat more about love and God and creation, man. I like that.
For sure.
So we had a competition. So what we do here is a lot of times we talk to people about things that they have used in the either in the studio or in their creation or just something that they love in their life. And one of these guys who came on, his name was Devin Moody from Twin Rova. Shout out Twin Rova, hashtag taboo, hashtag whatever. He talked about throat coat tea. Say that 10 times fast. Don't actually say it. It's like if you're a singer, and he's told this story of him. I think he got strep throat, and he had to go on and perform a show. He actually drank some of this tea before his show, and he was able to go on and perform.
Wow.
Then Fran, the Magic Fran, reached out to Throat Coat Tea, and they said that they would sponsor us giveaway. So they give us, 3 packages? Is it a little more than that? We're giving away. Okay, we're giving away 3. They only gave us 3. Just kidding. Throat Coat's tea's been really good. We're giving it away. 2. Oh, I just dropped it. We're giving it away to Devin Moody because Devin Moody was the one who told us to bring it out there. He won the draw, right? Devin Moody, number 1. It's at Devin Twin Rova, TWNRVA. Number 2, we're giving some to Amanda at Late Night Minutes. That's a sweet little panhandle there. I like that. And Danielle at quiet_tsunami. You guys are the winners for the Throat Coat Tea. I think that the like and share. Thank you so much. It's going to be sweet. How do we plan to get this to them? Are we mailing it to them? Just pay shipping and handling, all that kind of stuff? Okay, sweet. We'll contact you guys. We'll let you know how we're going to get it to you. It's going to be really, really fun. So thank you so much for liking and sharing. Hopefully we've been able to add some value for you. We're going to head to a break. We got some more Rochelle, also for Lies, right, is also produced by Emman. Yeah. Love it. And we have voicemail by Stacia Daniels coming up. Check us out, CFRE DriveWire Radio. What's going on? You got Carter with DriveWire Radio. I am always driving Dom to his limits. I love the guy, and hopefully he loves me back for it. That's what's up. We got Carter. We don't got Crawford. We got the one and only E-Man. I got to tell you guys a story. So E-Man has this bio, and in his bio, let me see. So it's like the words "the one and only" with no spaces, okay? And it says "the one and only E-Man." And I'm trying to pronounce this like it's a name, man. I didn't know. So the one and only is how you pronounce it.
You're not the only one, man.
Really? Man, I really thought it was like Theand and Only or something like that. I really did. I promise. I'm not the smartest guy every time. I really did. So I'm glad it's a lot easier than that. I was like, man, is this your name? You have to spell that every time you like type something out for yourself? Like, damn, bro. I have a K. My last name is Niffin, and I have a K. And I thought that was hard for people. Yeah. So to have Theand and Only for your fucking name would be challenging. Thank God it's not. It's E-Man. What's your last name?
A Day.
A Day? It's not nearly as hard as
what it's funny too. I used to have a show on YouTube. So because my last name was A Day, it would be titled the title of the show would be called A Day with E-Man. It was so funny. I'd just go around talk about.
You're like a trickster with that name, right? You're a trickster with the name. Okay, we got to get this man out. Thank you so much for your time. For sure. This is the part of the show where Larry comes out and sings a silly song. Just kidding, that's from VeggieTales. you know VeggieTales?
VeggieTales,
What? You're a biblical man. You don't.
Back in the days, right?
Yeah, like
VeggieTales.
yeah, okay. There's a part in it where Larry sings silly songs. Don't worry about it. We're moving on. So this is the thing that I learned from you. This is what I picked up as that I learned from you. So the first thing you said was don't limit yourself. I love that, man. You're talking about, especially if you think you have musical talent and you don't know how to play an instrument. I promise you, even thinking you have musical talent means you have it.
Right.
Like if the universe puts like this, the whole entire oak tree sits in the seed. Mm-hmm. The whole entire professional musician sits in the kid who doesn't have any talent yet and is like, I actually really think I could. That's the seed. Anything worth doing well is worth doing poorly at first. Man, right. Oh my God. We talked about the F chord, learning pianos, taking the time. You will grow. Right. If you put your own attention consistently on something, I promise you, you will excite yourself. And once you get like one chord, man, all the other chords are easier.
Right.
And then once you get two, all the other chords are even easier. And then once you get 3 or 4 or 5, and eventually, you know what I mean? Right. Eventually, it's to the point where even if you're on piano and you're like, well, it's this chord, this chord, this chord, and I can be on a guitar and just watch you play it, I can pick it up as we're going, and it's not
and
slow.
You can just add on, feed on each other.
And that's many years down the road, but you will grow into that. So I love that, man. Anything worth doing well is worth doing poorly at first. That's music, that's entrepreneurship, that's building, that's family, that's life, that's relationships, that's freaking reading, man. Everything. Right. Yeah. If it's worth doing well, it's worth doing poorly at first. Not really driving, though. Figure out your driving before you get behind the wheel. Time spent, man. Everything comes back to time spent. You talked a lot about value your time. Even when you weren't talking about value your time, I can hear it in your conversation because you're like, I was just trying to figure out how I could save time, and then I went to work and I literally was trying to structure my well, I'd have 15 minutes exactly to do my Bible studies and my prayer, and then I had 15 minutes to write this beat or get this guitar chord or the F chord or the what. Like, dude, I love that, man. Value your time. It comes down to who are you going to put yourself around? Right. Who are you going to learn from? Who are you going to work with? Who are you going to collaborate with? What kind of people are you talking to? Do you have goals with your time? I love it, man. That is something that so many creative types, they miss this structure on the other side. You know, I've heard creatives say, man, I don't want to learn my music theory because it'll put me in a box. Like, yeah, exactly. He's laughing. E-Man's laughing because he knows it's so ridiculous to hear that. Dude, it lets you stand on top of the box, bro. You know what I mean? I've heard so many people,
think outside the box.
That's it, man. And or even like if you hear a song that you love and you hear a particular riff or a piano riff or whatever, with no music theory, you're going to have to sit around and try and figure that out.
Right. And adding on to that, it's always better to understand than to memorize.
100%, man. I love that. John Mayer said the exact same thing. He's talking about gravity, and he's like, you could learn this lick. It's in G major. And he's like, but if you learn that and you don't take the time to learn the rest of that scale on the rest of the neck, then you miss the whole point of my song, he says. That's freaking brilliant, man. It's so important to understand. And that theory, that bottom that allows you to have it, and it comes back to prioritizing, value your time, and time spent, man. It's discipline up front, man. It's discipline up front. Right. Have a vision. You said, how do you see yourself, and why do you want to learn those things, or why do you want to learn the guitar, or why do you want to learn the piano? But how do you see yourself? Dude, that's an hour-long or more conversation right there. Right. You know, if I see myself as being an amazing communicator, as an amazing speaker, as an amazing pianist, vocalist, guitarist, rapper, etc., I will take the steps to going towards that. But if I don't see myself as being that, game over, man. Yeah. So like, take the time to dream a little bit. You know what I mean? And I learned that from you, and I appreciate that. Great I just put "Made It Through the Day." I know that's the name of your song. The single was "Summer," but I actually just really like the title. Like, it just made it through. Like, just keep going, keep keeping on. Like, I like it. I like it a lot.
Thanks, man.
Niche yourself. Dude, you did this with God. I like this because you did it in a way that is very bold. You dropped a lot of clients, and I think that's super interesting because not a lot of people would be able to, sorry to the other clients, quote unquote, cut the fat. You know what I mean? Like, get rid of the ones that are not working for me and really lean into the ones that are. And I think that over time, that's actually going to play out in your future. And I'm very, very excited to see how that rolls for you, because now all those artists that are looking for that, you know, there's going to be a lot that aren't, and you already felt that pain. But on the back end, there's going to be a lot that are, and I really believe that it's going to blossom. You might become known for that in itself. Right. So I love that. Niche yourself. Find a way. If you're not a person of God, there is going to be other things that are for you. A way that Emman did it without God is he used classical and rap together. Right. You know, and, I've been trying to get, and that's why I'm so excited to be with Raz. I keep sending him clips. Raps. He's a great rapper. He never swears. I really think you would vibe with his music. Please send him some of this stuff. I've been trying to do like a rap and guitar thing for a long time. Like I think AC/DC meets like quick rap kind of thing. Like I think there's a niche for that, man. Right. I've been trying to get that going, so I love it, man. Niche yourself. Yeah, hopefully. Well, Raz said the same thing when I told him that was my vision. He's like, man, I've been looking for something like that, man.
It goes back into days when you know how that light bulb was made. 1,000 experiments.
That's it.
You know what I mean? They all took that one click.
Yeah.
And then now look
where we are. And he was like the only one in the world who knew how it worked, and he knew 10,000 ways it didn't work, man.
Exactly.
That's all right. But how? So you and I are bragging because we took 15 hours to learn an F chord. How long, man, to do? He just consistently and persistently did it, and I love that about you, man. You have a vision, you know where you're going, and you're on the path, and I'm not getting off this path. You have this like certainty about you. So this is Emman, the one and only Emman. Don't try and pronounce the whole thing. Put spaces in there. Do yourself a freaking favor. You can check him out at Nuclear Sound. Insta, probably Facebook, probably Snapchat. I don't know what else. Yeah, hit them up. Tell them where they can find you, man.
Right, for sure. So Nuclear Sound, that's NEWCLEAR. That's on Instagram, on Facebook as well. I don't really use Snapchat as well, but I use Snapchat to just be goofy a little. So if you like that side of me, you can hit me up. The one and only THA, one and only 91 for Snapchat. And what else? On Instagram, not Instagram, I already said that. Twitter is NCS_pro on Twitter, and yeah, that's about it.
And then the Classman, the compositions of classical meeting rap with the snare, with the beats, where can they find that?
You can find that on SoundCloud. Just type in Classman, Nuclear Sound, or iTunes, Spotify, and all the other platforms like Amazon, Tidal, and all of those good stuff.
Awesome, man. Yo, thank you so much for being in. You got Carter, you don't got Crawford, you got the one and only Emman. It's been a slice. Catch us next week. DriveWire Radio, CFRE. Peace out, y'all.
For shizzle.